for drafting, you need some body measurements. You can either use personalized measurements or you can refer a standard body measurement chart. There are three basic kind of body measurements that are used in drafting: the horizontal measurement, vertical measurement, and the circumference measurement. So all you have to remember is usually the circumference measurements are divided by 4. For drafting, horizontal measurements are divided by 2 and the vertical measurements remain as they are. If you are making this garment out of stretch fabric, then you do not need to add any ease allowances to the formula. But in case you're using woven fabric, then you need to add certain amount of ease allowances to the formula. In this demonstration, I am going to make use of measurements for size 34, which is medium size, or size 10. These are some of the measurements that I will be using to draft the basic bodice and the sleeve block: armhole depth, bust height, back waist length, front waist length, across chest for front, across chest for back, shoulder to shoulder taken at back, full sleeve length, and wrist round. So here you can see the drafting instruction for front bodice block. You can also see the figure on the left hand side. So in stage 1, you have to draw the skeletal framework, that is draw rectangle ABCD. AC will be bust round, divide by 4 as it is a circumference measurement, and to that you add 2.5 centimeters of ease allowance. So for size 34, the value is coming 24.3. Now from A, you have to measure down about 2.5 centimeters for shoulder slope, which is point E. And from A, you have to measure down the underarm level, which is point F. And at that point, you have to draw one horizontal, touching the CD line at point S. From F, you have to go up 3 centimeters and mark point H. This is the front chest level. At this point, you have to draw one horizontal. Now from A, you have to measure down the bust height and mark point G on the AB line and draw one horizontal at point G. Now you have all the horizontal levels needed to draft this pattern, like the shoulder slope level, which is the point E line. There is the chest level, that is the point H line. There is the armhole level, which is point F line. There is the point G, which is the bust line, and finally point B, which is the waist level for front. Now one by one, you have to mark the growth points, like the higher shoulder point, which is referenced as the alphabet I here, the neck depth, which is point J here, the lower shoulder point, which is point M, and finally the side waist point, which is point O here. So by connecting all these growth points, you will create the outline of the bodice block. So as you all know, the woman's body has contours. That means a flat two-dimensional fabric, even if you cut it according to the shape of the body, it will not fit exactly on the woman's body according to her bulges and dips. That means you need to add darts in them, as darts are used to adjust fitting in the garment. So here you can see at the waistline a waist fitting dart to control the excess of the fabric at the waistline, and you can also see a bust fitting dart on the bust line to control the contouring or the bulge of the body near the breast area. Now look at the formula and you can start drawing. AI is 7.5 centimeters, which is the neck width. If you don't want to guess and mark, then firstly you can mark point K. So according to the formula, AK is shoulder divided by 2 plus 0.75 centimeter, which is 18.75 centimeter, and I have rounded it off to 18.8 centimeter. So AK is 18.8 centimeter. Now from point K, you have to go backwards, measuring on the AK line the shoulder width that is given in the body measurement chart. Maybe it's approximately 11 or 12 centimeters. Please check in the body measurement chart and mark point I. Now from I, you have to measure diagonally until the AB line 4 inches or 10 centimeters diagonally. This is the neck depth. HN equal to 15.5 centimeters, which is front chest divided by 2. And from K to M, you already know it is the shoulder slope point. D to O is coming up to 21 centimeters. For the waist fitting dart, the intake is 3 centimeters. Now from the bust point P, you have to drop one perpendicular until the waistline. This becomes the center of the waist fitting dart. Now since the intake for the dart is 3 centimeters, that means on the waistline on both sides of the center of the dart, you have to take 1.5 and 1.5, and from these points you have to draw the legs of the dart. Now keep in mind that always the tip of the dart is at least 2.5 centimeters away from the apex point or the bust point. So for this reason, you have to measure 2.5 centimeters from point P and mark point Q. This is the tip of the waist fitting dart. So the legs of the dart will be connected to point Q here.